Okay. Cleopatra, you can start.
Yes, teacher. Let us humble ourselves for the Lord's Prayer. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Our loving Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for guiding us through our life. We thank you for leading us, making us live till today. We are humbly requesting to help us and guide us in this lesson so that we understand what the teacher is teaching us, and we may succeed in whatever we are planning. And we also pray for our country, and we also pray to go back to school. We pray this in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Sorry about the network. Good morning once again. Cleopatra, thank you so much for that prayer. This is Teacher Druscilla once again. I welcome you for today's lesson. You're highly welcome. This is probably our last lesson, and I'm glad to be here with you. I want someone to remind us what we did last week. What did we do last week? Yes, I see people's hands are up. Abraham, say something. What did we study last week? What did we study last week? Yes, Abraham. What did we look at last week? Where are the hands? Okay, Rita. Yes. What did we study? Rita, I can hear you. Say something.
Last time we looked at East Africa and we said East Africa is found in the eastern part of Africa.
Mm-hmm.
We gave the countries which are found in the southern part of East Africa, and these were Mozambique, Zambia. So, and then we continued and said that East Africa is found between longitude 5 degrees north and 12 degrees south. And we said it is also crossed by the equator, latitude 29 degrees west and 12 degrees south.
Okay. Rita, thank you for that beautiful observation. But I think you made a mistake on the latitudes. Okay. But thank you so much. Can I hear from someone else? So she's right. We looked at East Africa last time. We looked at the location. We looked at the size. We looked at the capital cities of each of the East African countries. Bahengana, what are you adding to her submission? Bahengana?
Me, what I remember that we learned about here, as Rita said, we learned about the neighboring countries of East Africa, and also learned about the area about the countries in East Africa, areas, number of people. Yes.
Okay, thank you so much. I'm glad people still remember what we studied last week. So we looked at East Africa and the neighboring countries. We said which countries border East Africa in the north. In the north, we said there is South Sudan, and Ethiopia. Then in the east, we have DRC Congo. Then in the south, there is Zambia, Malawi, and Mozambique. While in the east, we have Somalia and the Indian Ocean. That was basically it about East Africa. Then we looked at the area of each of the 3 East African countries that we discussed here in geography. That is Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And then we looked at their capital cities. Please, the major topic today that we are having or we are handling is relief regions of East Africa. So I introduced the relief regions last week. Today I want us to go into the details, okay? Such that by the end of this lesson, you're able to define relief, okay? Then after defining the relief of East Africa, you must be able to describe the different relief regions of East Africa. And by the end of the day, I'll be sure you must know how to draw a sketch map of East Africa showing the different relief regions. So that is what I have planned for you to achieve by the end of this lesson. So when I talk of relief, what comes to your mind? Prudy, what is relief? What is relief? Prudy, what is relief? Your hand was up first. When you hear the word relief, what comes to your mind? Prudy, did I lose you? Yes, you're there.
Morning, teacher.
Good morning. How are you?
Hi. The word relief refers to the physical makeup of the surface of the earth.
Good. She's saying it is the physical makeup of the surface of the earth. Thank you so much, Prudence. Who is adding on it? So the word I'm learning from her is that there is physical makeup. Grace, what is relief according to you? Grace? Grace, can you hear me? Daniela, what is relief? According to your P3 SST, what is relief?
Teacher, relief is the general appearance of the earth.
Daniela, I beg your pardon?
Relief is the general appearance of the earth's surface.
Good. So there is still general appearance. The person that talked earlier said relief is the physical appearance. So I need us to pick one. General or physical? Michaela, what is relief according to you? Michaela, unmute.
Relief is the physical or general appearance of an area.
Okay, so Michaela is telling us to marry the two, physical or general. I think we should take the two. Eh? Relief is the physical appearance of an area, or it is the general appearance of an area. Thank you so much. Now, when you talk of relief of East Africa, what do we mean? What describes the relief of East Africa? My namesake Druscilla, how do you describe the relief of East Africa? What is the general appearance of East Africa? I have people. Do I have any Tanzanians here? Any Kenyans? Or we are all Ugandans?
Ugandans.
We are all Ugandans.
South Sudanese. No.
Oh, we have South Sudanese. That is good. So I want Druscilla Awanya to describe for me the relief of East Africa. Drew, yes.
It's mountainous.
It is mountainous, nice.
It's hilly.
It is hilly. What is the difference between mountainous and hilly?
It's because a hill is different from a mountain.
You do what?
Because a hill is different from a mountain.
Ah, okay. We shall talk about that in detail. So that when you look into East Africa, you find hills, you find mountains. That is how
Valley.
Druscilla sees East Africa. There are valleys. Marvin, how do you see East Africa? Thank you, Drew. Marvin, how would you describe the appearance of East Africa? Marvin?
Yes, teacher.
Yes.
So East Africa, we have
Marvin, be loud, mate. Yeah, I can't hear you.
yeah, East Africa. We have many physical features like the mountains.
It has what?
East Africa
It
have
has
many
highlands. It has many physical features
like the
like
mountains
mountains and
the lakes, like the plateaus.
lakes. So this one is adding in lakes, valleys,
Plateaus.
Plateau.
plateau. Beautiful. So when you then basins, okay, basins. Michaela, thank you. Fatuma, anything you're adding on? When you look at East Africa, some people are saying it has mountains, it has valleys, it has basins, it has hills. What else?
Flatlands.
It has flatlands. Well, we are not always on a mountain. Thank you. It has
Plain.
plains. Okay. I hope you're able to differentiate between the flatlands and the plains.
Yes.
Yes, Michelle. Viking, you're making noise where you are. So if that is the case, today we are going to look at the physical appearance of East Africa. Now, all those things you've mentioned are very true. However, we group them into 5 major categories. And those 5 major categories are the ones we are referring to as relief regions of East Africa. So my definition of relief doesn't differ so much from yours. It is the general or physical appearance of an area. Okay. So East Africa is made up of various relief features. That is the mountains, the plateaus, the plains, the valleys, the basins, which we are calling lakes. And those ones are the ones we have divided into 5 major categories. Okay. So let's look at these categories in details. Let's see the major categories. Who is going to read for me the first one? Who is reading for me the first category? Who is reading me the first category? Okay. Opoy. Opoy, today I'm glad you're participating. Opoy, read me the first category.
Coastal plains.
The coastal plains. When you hear how it sounds, what do you think it is? Opoy, when you hear the word coastal plains, what comes to your mind? You must have an idea of what it is. It has? Sorry? Who can help Opoy? When you hear the word coastal plains, what comes to your mind? Yes, Rodney. Coastal, just your own understanding without the geography behind. Rodney, when you hear the word coastal plains, what comes to your mind? Nothing? Nothing? Is someone writing it? So Elizabeth, thank you. Elizabeth Kiravo is saying the areas along the coast. Noel is saying the plains at the coast. I think you're on track. At least that's a good idea. Who is reading me the second one? So the first relief feature we are looking at are the coastal plains. Yes, Nabonje. Nabonje, unmute yourself.
The East African Plateau.
The East African Plateau. What do you understand by that one?
There are plateaus that are found in East Africa.
The plateaus that are found in. What is a plateau by definition?
A plateau is a raised flat top piece of
A raised flat topped piece of land. So when I say the East African Plateau, I mean a raised flat topped piece of land in East Africa. Thank you, Navonje. Who is reading me the next? Damba.
You're welcome, teacher.
Damba, read for me the next relief feature. Damba. Damba, read for me. You don't want? Yes, Druscilla, read for me the third one. So you looked at the coastal plain found at the coast. The East African Plateau is a raised flat piece of land found in East Africa. Druscilla?
The East African Rift Valley.
The East African Rift Valley. Is that the third one?
No, the third one is the Central and Lake
The Central and Lake Plateau. So how different is the Central and Lake Plateau from the East African Plateau? Who is thinking? Cortez? Cortez?
Yes, teacher.
Yes. Could you differentiate between East African Plateau and the Central or Lake Plateau? Can you tell the difference?
The Central and Lake Plateau are found in central parts of East Africa.
They are found where?
They are found in the central part of
In
Africa.
the central part of East Africa, not of Africa. Then the East African Plateau, where is it found?
It's found in East Africa.
In East Africa, but in a different direction, in the eastern part. Eh?
Yeah.
So it is the direction that gives the difference. One is found in the center and along the Great Lakes. Then the other one is found on the eastern side of East Africa. Okay. Chirabo, thank you. Then finally we have the East African Highlands. What does that mean? Peter, when you say the East African Highlands, what comes to your mind? Peter Lins.
Teacher.
Yes.
I have a question. What is the
Please.
meaning above sea? What is the meaning of above sea level?
Above sea level. When you look at the level of water, okay? Under normal circumstances, the level of where water is, okay? I'm looking at lake water or maybe sea water, the Indian Ocean, for example. Okay? Where it stops, where you're able to feel the water. Now, that area that is above that water level is what we're calling the sea level. Meaning that relief region rises beyond that sea level we are looking at. Okay? Peter, I hope you've understood that. That level above the sea. When you look at Victoria, above it, something that rises above that is above sea level. Okay? I hope I've answered you. Viking, I see people's hands still up. Want to move on? Opoy, mute your mic. Grace, mute your mic. Okay. So we'll continue and look at this. The coast. So we have 5 major relief regions: the coastal plains, which we have defined, the East African Plateau in the eastern part, the Central and Lake Plateau. Do you realize that they keep increasing in heights above the sea level? The plains are quite flat. If you're standing at the sea level, they're literally not so different. Then the plateau is equally flat. Then the Central and Lake Plateau, we are seeing it rising from between 1,000 to 1,500. Okay. Then also this one rises to 1,800. And then the highlands, the real mountains are really raised. Yeah. So those are the relief regions of East Africa. So let's look at them in detail. Let's see what they are in detail. So if I have my sketch map of East Africa, can you be able to look at it? Do you see my sketch map on your screens?
Yes.
Now, we are going to identify these areas. The coastal plain. Where do you think, which letter do you think describes the coastal plain? Which letter do you think describes or shows Ashanti? Right? Which letter do you think defines the coastal plains? Where do you think we are finding the coastal plains? Just the way it is, the coastal plain. Right? When I unmute you, also unmute yourself. Okay, Bright is not ready, Fatuma. When I say the coastal plains, which letter do you think is showing the coastal plains?
Letter D.
Letter D?
Yes.
Oh no. Is that the coast? Cleopatra?
Excuse me, teacher.
Cleopatra?
Excuse me, teacher.
Yes, please.
What is
Yes,
a letter
teacher,
T?
letter A.
We are coming. Let us go bit by bit, okay?
Teacher, may I think letter A describes the coast.
The coastal plain. Do you see? So, Cleo is saying the area around the coast. First of all, here we have the Indian Ocean, not so? So, the area around here is the one we are calling the coastal plain. Okay, that whole area, that region near the Indian Ocean is the one we are referring to as our coastal plains. Okay, and someone said that this is an area found near the coast, and the way it is, if you remember the heights we've given, it is below sea level. It is 250 meters above the sea level. So that is the first one. Letter B, do you think? What do you think letter B represents? Which relief feature is represented by letter B? Tina. Tina, which relief region do you think is represented by letter B? Tina. Rodney? Tina is not there.
It represents the East African plateau.
The East African. We said, someone was saying, teacher, what is the difference between the East African plateau and the Central? So if I'm to put my sketch map, my map here, okay, this is going to be my map, my compass direction. And they say we write the word we such that this is the north, this is the south, this is going to be my direction. This is going to be the east. Automatically, this becomes the west. So, which one is in East Africa? This one is the Eastern Plateau. This whole area here, all of it here is the Eastern Plateau. Wherever we see B, and I think if you look at the patterns, that is the Eastern Plateau. Okay. What do you think C represents? Letter C. Letter C. Letter C. Pretty, you're wrong. Letter C is not a Rift Valley. Letter C. Letter C. Letter C. Petronella. Letter C is representing
the Central Plateau.
the Central. Is it letter C? Are you sure? Letter C, what is letter C representing?
The Highlands.
The Highlands, that is Julia. Julia, what is letter C saying? Julia?
Highlands.
Highlands. The Highlands, what is the other name for Highlands? Which other name can we give for Highlands?
Areas above the sea level.
Which other name do we give for Highlands?
Area
area above the sea level.
Of course, all highlands, most of them are above the sea level. Peter, which other name can we give above for highlands? Highlands. Which name can we give this name?
Mountains and hills.
Mountains and hills. Beautiful. So that is represented by
Hills
sea.
and mountains.
Hills. You're right. Thank you very much. Okay. So if you're to look at where sea is, which mountains do you think are here in Kenya? Which mountains are found around there? I think there is Mount Kenya over there. Okay. And in Uganda, which mountains are here? In Uganda, there is which mountain is up there?
Mount Elgon.
Mount Elgon, beautiful. Which mountain do we find along here in Kenya? In Kenya, around there, which mountains do we find? Those are the Kenya highlands. They're all here. All the Kenya highlands around there. Then in Tanzania, which mountain do we find here? Mountain Oldinyo Lengai. Have you heard of it? Oldinyo Lengai is the one that we are finding around there. Then which mountain do we find here? Which mountain do we find around here? Hey, unmute yourself if you have something to say. Martha Mukisa. Martha Mukisa. Which mountain do we find around here?
Where, teacher?
Here. In Tanganyika, in Tanzania. Are you seeing my pointer? Which mountain are we finding there? You can't see my pointer.
Yes.
That is unfortunate. Blessing, can you see my pointer? Blessing, can you see my pointer?
Yes.
Which mountains do we find around here?
Mount Kilimanjaro.
Mount Kilimanjaro. Thank you. So these are the highland areas, all the mountainous areas. Then around here, which mountain do we find? Which mountains do we find there? Chigezi Highlands. Chigezi Highlands. Then here, what do we find? Mahale Mountains. You're going to have to know all these mountains since you're studying this topic. Okay, so we have looked at the coastal plains, which are the ones labeled in A. B was showing us the eastern plateau. Then C has been the highlands and mountains. What about D? What is D? What is D? Do you remember the spelling of the mountain Kilimanjaro? Okay, someone has helped you, thank God. It's Kilimanjaro. There is Oldinyo Lengai here. I said Oldinyo Lengai. Then you have Mahale Mountains around here. Okay. Then I mentioned the Livingstone Mountains here. I'm going to have the map for that. Don't you worry. Okay. So we are looking for D, relief region D. What is relief region D? Relief region D, Mugisha?
Central and Lake Plateau.
Beautiful, the Central and Lake Plateau. So do you realize that the Central and Lake Plateau covers, which one covers the biggest part in East Africa? What do you think covers the biggest part? So those are our relief regions. So as you think about that, think about my question, which relief region covers? Fahad is saying the Central and Lake Plateau. Viking is saying the Coastal and Lake Plateau. I haven't talked about the Coastal and Lake Plateau. There you lied. So which region covers, which relief feature or which relief region? Daniela, which relief region covers the biggest part of East Africa? By the way, you look at things. The Central and Lake Plateau. Beautiful. So that is briefly it about the relief region. So we must agree, Rodney, that it is the Central and Lake Plateau. Rodney is saying the East African Plateau. Look at where it is stretching, just this. So part E, by the way, I'd forgotten part E. Part E is the East African Plateau, where you're seeing E. And you realize that for it is divided into two. We have the eastern arm, and then we have the western arm. Okay, so Rodney, East Africa is dominated by the Central and Lake Plateau. We want to move on. Okay, we move on. So let's look at them in detail. If I'm to look at them in detail, and we look at the coastal plain by location, where do you think it is found? By location, where do you find the coastal plains? Aziz, I want to pick you. Where do we find the coastal plain? If you're not speaking, please mute your mic. You're causing echoes in my talking. Okay, thank you, Percy. Aziz, where are we finding the coastal plains? Daniela, mute. Aziz, you're saying, you might teacher, my hand is up, you're not picking me. I'm picking you, you're now quiet. Aziz. I cannot spot Aziz, or both. Where do we find the coastal plains? And when you look at all these relief features, one thing that has to come, the things that you must think about is the climate. How do they look like? Are there people who live there? If there are people who live there, which economic activities do they carry out in those areas? Okay. So Abraham has refused. Grace, talk to me. Where do you find the coastal plains? Where are we finding the coastal plains? Katono? People don't know how to unmute themselves.
The coast of
Teacher,
The
along
coast
the
of
coast of Kenya and Tanzania.
amazing, along the coast of Kenya and Tanzania. So it borders the Indian Ocean and the islands of Pemba and Mafia. And the people, now that it is at the coast and you've done East African history, what do you know about the coast as far as economic activities are concerned? Tina, when you hear the word coast, which economic activities do you think about? Which kind of climate do you think we should expect these people to experience?
Me, I think the experience the type of rainfall or climate.
Climate includes rainfall and temperature. So which
Convectional.
kind of conventional rainfall? Why? Because they're near the Indian
Ocean.
Okay, that is good. So meaning they have high temperatures and very high rainfall amounts. Thank you. And in that case, which economic activities are likely to take place? Which economic activities are likely to take place?
Tourism.
Sorry?
Water transport.
Water transport. Okay. Popoy. Michelle.
Fishing.
Fishing, beautiful. Fishing because they're near the Indian Ocean. Shidashan.
Farming.
Crop growing, and they grow which crops? The crops that the Portuguese prominently participated in. Which crops are those that were used in the Indian Ocean trade?
Cloves.
The cloves, nice. So they grow cloves, cashew nuts, rice, the ones that the Muslims introduced at the coast. Okay. And the dominant economic activities, we can talk about tourism, transport, and there is trading because of the easy access to the sea. Fishing, keep those things coming through in the chats. I'm glad you're participating. So that is the coastal plain found along the East African coast, known for farming. It has relief convectional rainfall received throughout the year. Let's look at the second one, the Eastern Plateau. If you're to remember on our map, let's first describe the Eastern Plateau. It is letter B. Can you describe the area where it is found? The Eastern Plateau we're describing. Car assembling, no. Writing, no. How we want to describe the location of B, that is the Eastern Plateau. Yes, participants are here raising their hands. Want to describe? Yes, Grace. Grace, describe for me the location of the Eastern Plateau. Hey, student. Is someone named student?
It's found in Kenya and Tanzania.
It is found, that's a good observation. It is found in Kenya and Tanzania. So it is shared by Kenya and Tanzania. That is 1, 2. Student, why don't you rename yourself properly? Student, talk to me. Thank you, Mercy. It is found in Kenya and Tanzania. Student is not studenting. Fatuma, unmute yourself and talk to me. Where do you find the East and Plateau? Fatuma, unmute and kept quiet.
It's between the game park, the game park which is shared by Kenya and Tanzania.
Which game park is this? I tell
At
you had
the
started
border.
so well. You're lying. It is between, let me help you with my pointer. It is between the coastal plains and the
Highlands.
And the highland regions of East Africa. That's another one. Good.
Excuse me, teacher.
Yes, please.
Excuse me, teacher.
Yes, I can hear you. Yes, say what you want to say. Someone is wondering how was the Eastern Plateau formed? We're all coming there. It receives cyclonic rainfall? No.
Teacher.
Okay. Yes, please.
Teacher, it is composed of fairly flat highlands.
Since it is a plateau, it is fairly flat. Remember, we said the plateau is a raised flat piece of land. So it has hills that are fairly flat topped because it is a plateau. Thank you. Any other? Which economic activities do you think can take place in here? Which economic activity?
Farming.
Irrigation farming, yes. What else? So that is it. It is fairly flat. It has highlands that are fairly flat. It occupies the eastern part of Kenya and Tanzania. It basically has short grass as savanna vegetation. And irrigation farming is carried out. So that is it about the Eastern Plateau. We are moving on to the next. That is the Central and Lake Plateau. Let's go back to our map and look at that one. The Central and Lake. Which letter was it?
D.
What about
D?
B?
It was D.
It was D. Okay.
Yes.
So this is the Central and Lake Plateau, all this region. So can someone describe for me location, the neighbors? So the Central and Lake Plateau is the one we're looking at as D.
Teacher, me. It is between the eastern and western arm of the Rift Valley.
Beautiful. It is between the eastern arm and the western arm of the Rift Valley. Good.
It is mainly found in Uganda and Tanzania.
It is mainly found in Uganda. I think it covers the largest part of Uganda and the central part of Tanzania. The center of Tanzania is covered by the Central Lake Plateau. Beautiful. What do you think? As far as the climate is concerned, economic activities, this is a plateau as well. But it is between, remember, Highlands, the highlands expected in here. And with highlands, we're talking about relief rainfall. So which economic activities are likely to take place? I want to correct someone in that.
Farming,
There is crop growing.
fishing,
Liking. You mentioned nomadic pastoralism in the previous one. Thank you so much. That is a good reminder. There is nomadic pastoralism in the Eastern Plateau. You should remember this is the area where the Nandi and the Masai are found. So there is nomadic pastoralism in this Eastern Plateau. So we are moving on to the coast, the Central Plateau. We are saying it is found between the eastern arm and the western arm, mainly in Uganda and central Tanzania. Possible economic activities here. Fahad's hand was almost hurting. I'm sorry. If your hand is too much up, you put in the chat. Yes, Fahad.
Yes, teacher. The economic activities which can be carried out in the Central Plateau. I mean, I think since it is in the between the lakes, I think fishing will also be part of it. Lake Victoria, around that area.
Thank you so much. You're saying since it is between the lake region, there is potential fishing. That is a very beautiful observation. It is very right. So since it is between the lakes region, we see there is Lake Choga here, there's Lake Victoria. I see a Lake Edward here, there is a Lake George somewhere, Albert. So there is potential of fishing taking place. Yes, Rodney. Let me talk to Marvin today. Rodney, please let me talk to Marvin.
Yeah.
Yes, Marvin.
I think also farming can be part of the economic activities.
Yes, farming is also part of the economic activities because of its nearness to highlands, and highlands have fertile soils. Viking, water transport? Yes, because of the lakes. Teacher, what if you say irrigation? Irrigation is okay, Noeli. There can be irrigation farming, especially in the areas near the leeward sides of the mountain. Kwesiga is asking whether there is irrigation at the coastal plains. Please no. The coastal plains are near the Indian Ocean. There can't be irrigation. Opoy, your hand is up. Opoy is complaining. Industrialization. Julia, you're right. Let me pick Opoy. Wanang. He's about to start crying. Opoy. Opoy, where are you, my dear? Let me find Opoy. Yes, Opoy. Say something.
Teacher, I had a question.
Yes. Please ask.
I've not understood about the Eastern Plateau.
The Eastern Plateau. Okay, good enough. That is where we are. So the Eastern Plateau, we said, is this one that is labeled B. Okay. Now, this Eastern Plateau, we said by direction, it is found in the eastern part of East Africa. I think if you're to look at that, that is where it is found. It is found between the coastal plain and the highlands. And so, and we mentioned the potential economic activities. We say this region is very dry. So there is irrigation farming. There is nomadic pastoralism because it is a dry area. Then we said it is different from the central Lake Plateau, which is D by direction. This one is found in the center, central, and then around the lakes of East Africa. That's why I'm calling it the Central and Lake Plateau. This is just the Eastern Plateau. Okay. You realize that where it is, there are not so many major lakes there. We just have highlands and rivers. I see River Refugee here. I see River Athi crossing through. So that's why it is not as a lot. It is not very filled with rain, does not receive a lot of rainfall, but the Central and Lake Plateau is between the lake regions. That's why we're saying there's a lot of fishing, farming, water transport, crop growing, lumbering, forestry, all those things are there. Okay, I hope I've answered your question, my dear. Generation of HEP, you're right. Viking. This guy, you're saying I can't see your hand. My God. So let's keep moving. Let's move. Let's move on. I have to choose Kwesiga. So we've looked at the coastal plain in detail. We've looked at the Eastern Plateau. We've looked at the Central and Lake Plateau. Okay. The Central and Lake, we said, is found along or around the lakes region. That's why there is farming, there is forestry, there is dairy farming, there is crop farming. It is everything good. Okay. Let's look at the East African Highlands. East African Highlands. And with that, I want you to write down mountains from each 10, actually five mountains from each country, if any. Okay, let's say 2. Mention for me 2 mountains and the country where these mountains belong.
Chami.
Yes. Let me first start with
Uganda.
Kwesiga's hand. I want Nakwesiga is the one who was complaining a lot. Where is she? Nakwesiga. Is it Nakwesiga? I don't remember. I think it's Kwesiga. Kwesiga, yes. Treasure. Treasure, first give me 2 mountains from a country.
Mount Elgon.
Mountain?
Elgon.
Mount Elgon where?
In Uganda.
In Uganda. And another one?
Mount Rwenzori.
Mount Rwenzori where?
In Uganda.
In Uganda. Thank you, Kwesiga. Opoy, I've already picked you. I want to hear from someone who has said nothing since morning. Kamuli Kenneth Kiravo.
But teacher.
Yes, please.
You missed one answer to the Central Plateau.
Which one?
Which one? Another activity is
another activity in the Central Plateau. Okay.
Yes.
Which one?
Tourism.
Which one? Tourism. Beautiful. Tourism is also okay. Timothy Clickers. Timothy, are you here? I want to hear from you. Give me 2 mountains from a country that you know. Any of the East African countries. Give me 2 mountains there. Timothy. Zara.
Yes, teacher.
Yes, Zara. 2 mountains from a country that you know.
Hello, teacher.
Which one?
Teacher.
Yes, please.
Yes, it's me, Timothy.
Which one?
It's me, Timothy. It's me, Timothy.
Yes, Timothy. Are you giving me the mountains?
Yeah, you told me 2 mountains.
Yes.
Yeah, there. Mountain Moroto.
Mount Moroto, where?
In Uganda.
Uganda.
Yes.
Only? I said 2.
Yes.
I said 2.
Yes, Mount Moroto. And Mountain Fufumbura was mentioned. So.
Okay, thank you. Let me get other people to talk. Thank you, Timothy. Bruno Dandiko. Bruno, are you with us? 2 mountains, Bruno. Okay, write for me 2 mountains in the chat. Let's go to the chat room because the I'm asking to talk and not talking. Let's use the chat room. Write those mountains down plus the country. Yes, Grace.
Mountain Kilimanjaro and Meru in Tanzania.
In Tanzania, Kilimanjaro and Meru in Tanzania. Thank you, Grace. Tara. Tara, your hand was up. Unmute yourself. Grace, mute. Nothing breezy. These names. Nothing breezy, unmute yourself and give me 2 mountains.
Teacher, Mountain Muhabura in Uganda.
Mountain Muhabura in Uganda. Thank you. Someone is
And
wondering which
mountain,
class
and
is
mountain, and mountain Nyamuhangira, DRC.
Muhabura in DRC. But see, I said in East Africa, basically look at Uganda, Kenya, and Tanzania. Chiravo, thank you. There is Mount Kenya and Satima. Where? Mount Kenya in Kenya and Mount Kilimanjaro. This is Michaela. Michaela, thank you. Tanzania has Mount Kilimanjaro, that is Viking. Now, someone is wondering which lesson this is. Please, this is Senior 1 Geography. This is Senior 1 Geography. You could be in the wrong class. Make sure you are in the right class. Okay. Mountain Napak in Uganda. Mount Kenya and Mount Satima in Kenya, that is Kirabo. So keep those chat rooms working as we move on. So we've looked at the 4 major regions so far. We've looked at the coastal plain, the Eastern Plateau, the Central Plateau, and now we have the East African Highlands. These are the mountains, okay? Now we need to know how each of these was formed meanwhile. That's going to be our next topic. Unfortunately, today is our last lesson. Then we have the Rift Valley. We have the Rift Valley. Yes, if you're to remember the Rift Valley, on our map it was labeled E, not so. That is the Rift Valley. Can we describe it? Let's describe the Rift Valley by location, by what? Who is giving me the answers? Marvin. Yes, Marvin. Who is talking?
It's Marvin.
Yes, Marvin.
The Rift Valley is in 3 countries, in Kenya, Tanzania, and Uganda.
Okay, it is shared by 3 countries, Kenya, Tanzania, and Uganda. Nice.
It is divided into the western arm and the eastern arm.
Amazing. It is divided into 2. The western arm, which is the other one. When you write the word we, W is that side, and then the eastern arm. Good. Yes, Christine.
Yes, teacher.
Yes.
It is in between 2 highlands.
It is between the highlands. It is formed along the highland region. Since it is a valley, that is why it is found along the highland regions. Please, if you've unmuted, mute yourself. So basically, that is it about the East African Rift Valley. Which economic activities do you think take place here? Which economic activities? You have not mentioned any. Which economic activities do you think take place in the East African Rift Valley? Talk, unmute yourself and talk. Olum David. Olum.
Morning, teacher.
Yes, Olum.
Fishing is one of them.
Fishing is one of them. In the Rift Valley, okay.
Tourism.
Because there is tourism. Thank you, Treasure. Charity. Charity, give me an economic activity.
Agricultural activities.
Agricultural activities like
Mining.
Mining. Beautiful. Philium. Treasure, mute your mic. Michelle, economic activities.
They gave my answer.
They gave your answer. Who is that mean one? Who didn't wait for you to say something? Viking.
Okay.
Viking, and an economic activity in the Rift Valley region.
We have irrigation farming.
Irrigation farming, especially in the dry regions. Okay. Peter Lins. Peter.
Teacher.
Peter.
Teacher.
Sorry.
Teacher, I was asking. Does Kilimanjaro, does Mountain Kilimanjaro border both Kenya and Tanzania?
No, it is in Tanzania. It is in Tanzania. just at the border. But it is in Tanzania only. It's not shared by any of them. It's just in Tanzania. So that is it about today's topics. Today, that's what we've looked at. So I asked this question and I think we answered it. Which relief covers the biggest part? And we all say that is the one that was inscribed with D. That was the Central and Lake Plateau. Good. I'm reading your chats and I think whatever you're saying in the chats you've discussed. Thank you so much. So I have a sketch map here of those mountains. If the mountain that you have in mind is not on this map, okay? This map shows all the relief regions, the mountains in Kenya. We have the Sherangai Hills, the Kenya Highlands. We have the Aberdare Ranges, Mount Kenya. So all of them are just right here. Then in Tanzania, I think Tanzania has so many hills and mountains. Rubeho, Olunguru, Guru, Sambara, Pare. So if the mountains you had written in your chart or in your mind are not here, there's Rwenzori in Uganda, there's Elgon, Moroto, and then the Chikezi Highlands. Uganda doesn't have so many mountains. I think Tanzania has the most mountains.
Yeah.
Then we have the coastal plain that is in blue. We have this green one is the Eastern Plateau. Then this pinkish is the one we are calling the mountainous regions. Then the red dotted lines are the Rift Valley. So I want you to draw this map. Classroom and you draw the map. Okay. Priscilla, I don't know what is going on with you. I'm not really understanding what you're saying. So that is basically it about the relief regions of East Africa. Now the assignment I'm giving you is you're going to fill this. Okay. I've given you the relief region, mention the size above sea level and the characteristics. We've been discussing this in class, not so? When it comes to characteristics, talk about where it is found, the neighbors, does it have hills, does it have mountains, the potential economic activity. So you're going to have to fill this table as part of our assignment. Then eventually you're going to draw for me the sketch map of East Africa showing the relief regions. Now, senior ones, senior ones, I want you to submit my work on Google Classroom. Nina has a concern. Nina, what are you saying?
Teacher, for me, I'm talking about the mountains. I have two mountains.
Yes.
In Ethiopia and Drakensberg in South Africa.
I have not heard.
Drakensberg in South Africa.
And South Africa in Ethiopia, not so? And remember, I told you our geography here, we are dealing with only East Africa. Your mountains are right, my dear, but not with our syllabus, not within our syllabus, okay?
Yes.
Yes, we are discussing East Africa, basically Uganda, Kenya, and Tanzania. Okay. Mercy, Divine, Desire, you have a concern?
Yes.
Yes, please.
Yes, we are not able to work in the Google Classroom.
You're not able, why? What exactly happens?
Yeah, teacher.
Okay, let me get help from you. Let me get help. Mr. Charles. Mr. Charles, are you on? Mr. Charles, is there a possibility of you sharing with us how they can access Google Classroom?
Is that one a new student?
No, majority are claiming they don't know how to get there. She's not new.
Okay, no problem. Okay. Are they in Google Classroom already?
They are not.
Teacher, we know how to access, but we can't find the previous work of Geography.
You can't find the previous. I upload, even this one is already there. I always upload before the lesson. I put the work there before the lesson.
No, teacher, we don't know how to go on the Google Classroom.
Mr. Charles, how are we